gosh, today is all about the air fryer. Now, can I just have a show of hands, please? Who's got one? Wow. Who's had more than one? Okay, good, because I'm in this one, right? So 6 months ago, when I first did the air fryer episode at home, I had a different one to this. So it shows you how much it's been used in the 6 months, because I got home last night and opened it up and had a look in there, and I thought, oh my gosh, there's no way I am taking that on the road, so I went out and bought a new one. So this is the new one, completely different to the one that I wrote the recipes with. But I thought to myself last night, I think that's probably a good thing, right? Because none of them are created equal, and they're all going to have slight variations. So I think the best thing to be teaching today is, hey, listen, it's okay to have a look, number one. It's okay to open things up and to have a look and then put it back in and it'll continue to cook. But I think it's also good to kind of make a little mistake if you do. For example, if I pull something out and it's slightly under, I'll just keep going. The problem is that I had the whole demo worked out that as soon as my fish was cooked, my salad would be done and that would be the meal completed. So we'll see if that still works. Hopefully it does. Now, one good thing that I love is I've got a couple of books to hand out today, and I love giving those to someone who asks the best question or someone who just gets really involved. Okay, now I've had a few chats with people already today, and some of the information that I've been getting is sensational. Now, did you know you can cook a steak in here? Hands up if you've cooked a steak in here. 1, 2, 3. I only found out about that in the weekend. Now, I heard 6 to 8 minutes at 200, this thick, right, cooks a medium rare steak. Now, I'm going to try that when I get home today. Is it caramelized all around the outside, etc., etc.? See, that blows me away. I wish I'd bought a steak today, but I haven't. Right, but what have I bought? So today I thought 3 beautiful dishes, right? All the recipes will come, they are cooked in a tepu. The first one, lamb skewers, okay, with the couscous salad. Kind of a little bit of a play on a Greek salad, but obviously with couscous. Second dish, the salmon with the brown rice salad, okay? Crustless quiches. Easy, quick and easy Sunday breakfast or brunch. Here we go, dish one. I'm gonna do a kind of like a dry marinade or a dry rub over some lamb. Now, I'm doing this a lot at work. At the moment in New Zealand, we can't buy, at my work, we're not allowed to buy chicken thighs. Everybody wants chicken thighs. So we have to buy the chicken breasts. They're cheaper for us now than a chicken thigh. So we buy them, but what happens with a chicken thigh when you cook it? Sometimes it dries out a little bit. So you got 2 options. First option is you could do a dry brine. Second option, a wet brine. A wet brine is just water and some salt, tastes like the ocean. You can put some aromats in there if you've got a chicken breast. Leave it in there for 15 minutes. That's it. After 15 minutes, discard that water and salty liquid, pat it dry, and you can grill that chicken breast, and it will be the most moist and most delicious chicken breast that you've ever had. But there's one other thing that you could do to ensure that, and that's buy a thermometer. And once your chicken breast gets up to about 72, you take it out, it'll rest up to over 75 and still be beautiful, okay? I'm kind of going to do something similar with the lamb. So like I said, I just bought $13.99. It's just a bit of leg. Okay, cut some of the leg steak off. Into my bowl like so. Now, salt, obviously. Pepper. And if you've got time, you can leave this overnight if you want to, okay? You could use fresh thyme. You can use dried thyme like so. I knew there was going to be a lid on there. You can just use a little bit of thyme. I would put some paprika. All of these recipes are obviously going to be around for you guys to use, to have, so don't worry too much. I'm going to go a little bit of thyme, a little bit of oregano. Not too much. These kind of burn a little bit once they get into the air fryer, so I will put a little bit of oil once the marination process is over. So I am using these things a lot. So if I'm having a steak or I'm having a piece of chicken at home, I've got my garlic powder, my onion powder, my paprikas. I'm using them more than buying New Zealand garlic. If you go to the supermarket right now and you want to buy a bulb of garlic, it's quite expensive. Okay, so I've found that at home to use these things are actually very good. So, just like so. Last night, I had corned beef, cauliflower with a white cheesy sauce. But the garlic powder, onion powder into your cheese sauce is absolutely beautiful. And in fact, that and a little bit of Vegeta if you have. Okay, Vegeta is like the stock. So we've got that. Paprika I seem to have not have at the moment. So give that a little bit of a dry rub. And of course, with the salt, you would just leave that out of the fridge for 20 minutes. But if you wanted to, you could put it into the refrigerator and just leave it overnight. The longer you leave that, and the more of this stuff you put on there, this just soaks away, draws into the meat, so you taste it, okay, so it won't burn when you go to cook it. Really important. I keep a bit of chili as well. You don't have to do that, but I like a little bit of chili. If you wanted to here as well, you could just go a little bit of lemon juice, and of course, again at the end. Now, already this morning I was talking with Carolyn, and we were saying how important this type of thing is. Now, you guys love your lemons because there's bags and bags of lemons over there. And I thought, well, you guys must eat a lot of food to have that many lemons. And then I realized why that's locked. Because you're probably putting them on gin. Rightio, if you were like me, you would be. Okay, so a little bit of lemon juice. Now, the lemon juice, of course, now, what's it going to do to that meat? The acidity, it's going to definitely, all right, almost cook it a little bit. Now, I've got garlic powder in there. If you didn't have garlic powder, you can just crush your garlic clove like so. Okay, I like to put a bit of salt on there, and then I take my knife and I just do this. Okay, now if I'm making garlic bread at home, anything like that there, the salt content into your garlic mashes your garlic and you end up with that beautiful paste. It's really simple. But if you put butter and some parsley with that and then put it in the stale French stick that you had left over from yesterday, wrap it in tin foil, chuck it in the oven, beautiful, beautiful garlic bread, right? So I'll just put a little bit of that in there because I've crushed it. Rightio, my air fryer, I have set at 180 degrees. Okay, now the reason I've got it at 180 is because when I looked at the picture on the top, it said for a steak, 180. I actually think it's irrelevant about that stuff, as I said before. And I can see people agreeing with me because what are you going to do if you put something in your air fryer, it's at 200, you're going to watch it. Okay, so that's what I suggest you do. Now, skewers. If you've got wooden skewers, you've got to soak them in water for at least half an hour before you cook with them. Otherwise, when they go into your air fryer, they'll catch on fire. Okay. I'll just get my... Okay, give that a bit of a mix up. So quite a simple flavor on there. Okay, but listen, you don't need to go crazy. Now, I did cut them all around about the same size. Now, obviously, you'll know why I did that. If you wanted to, I could take a bit of red onion and just put the red onion in between. Now, I know I don't have to preach to you guys about how to make a skewer. Okay? I'm pretty sure you would have made many of those in the past. Right, yeah, so I think I'm just going to plate up one, so I might do 2 or 3. Now, guys, if you've got questions along the way, please let me know. I've left a little bit of the fat on the outside of that. Now, air frying is obviously air frying, so you're getting rid of a lot of the fat. We've been talking about this a lot this morning. Obviously, in most air fryers, if you look in here, I've got a little grate at the bottom. The grate sits about yay far off the very bottom of my container. Okay, so that creates the airflow that you need going around. So you're going to get that Maynard outing. You know how, I think it's Maynard. It's the caramelization on the outside of the meat. Okay, now that is obviously where you're getting all the umami from, all the flavor from. So it's really important that happens. So that's what we're going to do, and the fat will caramelize nicely. But you can see here, I've got the fat sticking out the side, not hidden. Okay. I'll do 4. Rightio. Oops. 1, 2. Okay. Squash those down nicely. Now, pretty simple for me. My timer just goes like so. So I'm going to put it on for 20 minutes, but I suspect they're only going to be 10. And now that I'm going to put them in, this is what I saw yesterday. Now, I thought I'd give them a go so that we would all know whether or not you'd need to buy them for your own air fryer. So just a silicone mat, and they are designed to go straight into the air fryer. I don't think it's going to work. Now, the reason I don't think it's going to work is because this is an air fryer. It needs airflow. So if I put this in here, it disrupts my airflow. So let's try it anyway. Okay, so we'll give it a go both ways just to find out. So then, because they're $34 to buy that insert. So don't spend the money if you don't have to, right? Now, mine has already got the green light, so it's up to temperature really fast. I've actually had it on before, you might have seen that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of oil. Okay, just a little bit of olive oil, rub that onto there like so, and then, okay, pull that out. And then I'm just going to place my skewers like so. Actually, I'll do 3 so that can fit. There you go, just like that. I'll put that aside, don't worry, I might cook that for someone special a little bit later on. Rightio, now while that's cooking away, I have some couscous here. Now I was talking about the ease of getting a meal together and that by the time that it takes to cook the meat. Okay, so couscous, every day, very simple to use. All I've done is I've boiled the kettle a little bit, not so long ago, so it's still hot, hopefully. And it's 1-to-1. So I've got just under a cup of couscous. That goes in like so. Just give that a mix. Use this. Maybe a little bit more. It's about 1-to-1. And all I want to do is cover that. Okay, I'm just going to let that hang out. And then in about a minute or so, that would be nice and soft and ready to go. Okay? Now, I use couscous and bulgur wheat all the time. So bulgur wheat you can still buy at the supermarkets as well. Same deal. Okay? 1 cup of hot water, 1 cup of bulgur, 5 minutes time. There's the base of your salad, but that's your filler. Okay? Bulgur wheat's used for tabboulehs and things like that. I love the stuff. Okay, so what am I going to serve the lamb with? I'm going to make up a little salad. So some tomatoes. I'm just going to take my tomato. I will take out a little bit of the heart. Now this here we would never throw away. I'm involved in a competition at the moment called Bocuse d'Or New Zealand. It's a New Zealand squad that's heading up to an international culinary competition. One of the things that we did for France, for Lyon, to show what we do with waste, is that we took the heart of that tomato like so. Okay, we cut it out like that so that you could see it really beautifully like this. And then we created a small tart, and that became the hero on the top of the tart. Okay, now this competition I'm talking about, we're the first group from New Zealand that's ever made the finals. So it's a 35-year-old competition. And the young boy that is the candidate, or the young boy, I shouldn't call him that, William Mordito, one of my colleagues, he is the chef candidate. My role's a little different now. I am actually on the jury as a taster. So I taste all the international team's food. But this competition sends us to China first and then up into Lyon. Last time, the first time we went, we came 15th. We're hoping this year to get top 10. So please, if you get an opportunity to follow the journey, have a look for us and, watch us and see how we get on. Rightio, so I'm going to do a little bit of a play on a Greek salad, just with a few extra ingredients. Now, I have a lot of people asking me in schools when I'm in the schools saying, why do I take the seeds out of the tomatoes? Really, if I'm just going to make a meal and we're going to eat it straight away at home, I would never. But if I'm making a salad that might sit for a little while, then I'll take those out because I don't want all the excess water going into the bottom of the bowl. The other thing I'll never do is season it, because if you season your salad and then put it into the refrigerator, it just starts to bring out all of the water, okay? Right, so I always use a claw technique. If you guys have been watching some of the shows already, you'll see what that means. So you can see I'll never cut myself because my fingers are always back like so. That knuckle sticks out further than the rest, so I have a guide. And then my thumb is kind of for the control, and then my knife doesn't have to come off there, and I'll never cut my finger. It's only when you're going like that and you go fast, 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 and then this finger comes out. Sometimes you cut that nail off, which isn't so great. Rightio, so straight through with, let's have a look, eh? Four minutes. Well, medium rare. Medium rare, 4 minutes, medium rare. I think it's probably, once that rests up a little bit, I'm going to go a little bit more, but the color is looking very good. Who likes their lamb medium here? Who's medium rare lamb? Medium rare. Oh, very interesting. It's funny, as I've got older, I've started to move away. My steak eating as a kid was blue, because that's how all the men would eat it, and I never really enjoyed it, but that's how it was. And then I went to medium rare, and I started to notice sometimes the steak was still a little bit chewy, so I've gone to medium. And now I'm finding it's blushing and it's beautiful and juicy, so I've changed. I apologize to those guys that still like it the other way. It is actually, it's such a personal thing, isn't it? Rightio, so a few bits of diced tomato. I'm going to put in some beautiful parsley. Just roughly dice that through. Okay. I've got some cucumber. Now, a lot of people always talk about taking the seeds out of this as well, and of course you can if you want to. See, very simple. You guys would all know that. And again, it really is just because I don't want that excess moisture. But we're going to serve this straight away, so who cares? Rightio, just check my couscous. Quite a lot to remember when you're doing this, isn't there? Rightio, so my couscous, you can see there, I'll just fluff it up with my fork. It's soft enough to eat. It's quite amazing, right? If you put too much liquid in there, it can overcook, which is a bit of a funny thing, okay? But that there is pretty good. Forgot to tell you my secret. I put in a little bit of vegetable stock. I put in a little bit of veggie stock because it goes into the couscous and makes the couscous way better than if you don't. Otherwise, it can just be very plain, okay? Rightio. So, straight into my salad bowl. Come over here, look at the lamb. Okay, look at those. Looking pretty good. I'm actually going to turn it over. And the basket is working perfectly. So it's caught a tiny little bit of fat in the bottom. I'm going to go for 1 more minute on there. Right, in with the rest of the tomato. Okay, a little bit of red onion. I've got some olives there as well. Just got some green olives. They're marinated green olives. You can use whatever ones you like. I'm not even going to slice them. I like them whole. And I've got a tiny little bit of feta there as well. So I'll put some more. Rightio. And coriander. Who here doesn't eat coriander? There's usually about 25%. Is it because it's soapy? Is that the flavour you get? You just don't like it? A lot of people that I've heard across, over the last few years, they say, oh, it's just so soapy. Right, so that goes in, and then good whack of this, a bit more parsley, I think. Right, that's done. Take those out. Move my parsley off. So I've got a salad happening here. Okay, I have something creamy. I want a bit of a sauce to have with it as well. So I have some Greek yogurt. What I don't have, guys, is a grater. So it's not great, I know. But I have my yogurt goes in there, and always Greek yogurt, nice and sour. You can put a little bit of lemon juice. Okay, I like a little bit of salt. I'll put a little bit of pepper. And obviously, with my cucumber, I would normally grate it in. But like I said, I don't have it, so I'm just going to slice it really thinly like so. And I'm just going to cut it small, because that is going to be a nice little respite. I'm thinking it's just going to be nice and refreshing. And just something to dunk with my lamb. Really simple. This is really cooling. Obviously, you use it for a lot of different things. A lot of different cultures have similar. So we have my salad, which I've forgotten my red onion. I can see that. Now you can see how herby I like it. The herbs are where you're going to get all your flavour from anyway. Okay, we'll have a good try of that in a second. I quite like a lot of salt, which is quite a contentious issue. I had this discussion in Rangiruru School in Christchurch just last week about salt, and I was actually saying, because everyone is still saying to me, oh, salt, don't use salt, you shouldn't use salt, but listen, we need to have a bit of iodine put back in our diets, right? So we need to actually be using some table salt, and it's okay, because that's actually pretty much the only place that a lot of our kids are getting it from as well, because of the resurgence in goiters, which is a funny thing, isn't it? So yeah, a little bit of iodine in your salt, that's a good thing. Right, now lastly, some red onion. Now red onion, you see how an onion's got lines going down it like this? Okay, so for a stir fry, I cut with those lines. I stir fry, it keeps its shape and it won't go slightly mushy. If I cut it this way, across, the onion goes a little bit mushy in your stir fries and it doesn't cook the same. So I go this way for salads and pickling onion, and then I go that way for everything else. But for this, I'm just gonna do a small dice. Again, the claw technique comes out. Okay, turn it around the other way and then straight down. You can see this knife isn't so sharp. And then that can go straight in as well. Right here. Now, I try and keep this a little bit tidy as I go, because otherwise it doesn't look very good, eh, Caroline? Okay, so let's just have a look at one of these skewers. So I'm going to pull one out over to here. We'll have a bit of a look. I'll peel one off, we'll cut through. I'm thinking this feels pretty medium to me. Oh, it's blushing lovely. There you go. Oh, yum. All right, I will say this. For me, I would really want more salt. Okay, so just because meat and salt goes so well together, okay? Right, now to plate it up. Just remind me I haven't put lemon and lime in my salad. Okay, first thing to do is to have a taste. Well, actually, would somebody like to come up and have a taste? Or should I bring it over for someone to have a taste? That's way better. This is a clean spoon. Oh, you were too slow. Quite surprising considering how fast you got in here today, isn't it?
Watching the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, the Olympics is amazing. So okay, so what I haven't done is put in a lot of seasoning, but you
love seasoning, but
you have a go, and then you can tell me what you think it needs.
Try the couscous because I don't usually have it. Thank you.
I think it'll need lemon, lime, and salt. Hey, I told you. I did exactly what you guys, I've done it. I did exactly what you guys wanted. So would you say lemon, lime, and salt as well?
I would say more salt.
Yep. Because it's amazing how much it will actually take, okay? But just remember, guys, once you've got it in there, you can't take it out. Okay, and I do like the acidity, okay? So lemon juice for me can sometimes just be a little bit overpowering. So that's why sometimes I go for a little bit of a mix. Okay, so I have a little bit of lime and a little bit of lemon. You might have seen me drop that, so I'll get that out of there. And that, to me, if you think about it, is so simple, so quick, but loads and loads of flavour. And this salad actually could go with any of the proteins I'm cooking today. Rightio, so we're only cooking for one, right? So we have one salad, and we have one salad for tomorrow night, for when you're cooking the salmon, okay? You have 2.5 skewers. Okay, I'll just bring that up here a little bit. One thing I hate is if I gave somebody a plate and it had a very dirty edge, so I'll make sure I clean that. And then, of course, a little bit of this, which I'll have a taste of, because I quite like it to be a little bit lemony. Not overpoweringly, but I want to know that it's in there. In fact, I can tell in there that it needs a little bit of coriander or parsley, but coriander's closer, that's what I'll use. Now, that little bit of green in there, if it, it's just going to add a little bit of lightness and just a little bit of freshness. So into there, then I'm just going to go bang, bang, bang. Put a little bit of a wedge of lemon there, just in case. And I'm going to say, there you go, that is dish one. That is my, I think it was 8 minutes. 8-minute lamb kebabs, marinated lamb kebabs, with my couscous salad and my cucumber raita. Very simple, 6 minutes. Oh, actually, you know what really makes this dish actually really good too? Is if you use all the ingredients. So, all right. There's always one. So a little bit of feta, right? And I just am going to literally just crumble that over the top because it just goes with everything. And there you go. Now, dish two, salmon. Now, I wanted to tell everybody about my piece of salmon yesterday because, gosh, I know we produce some of the world's best salmon. This year I've been to Twizel, I've been on the salmon farms, I've seen how amazing they are, and in fact, up at the Mackenzie country is a beautiful part of the world, right? And so what they're producing in there is amazing. This is from Bluff. Big Glory Bay Salmon, one of the greatest companies in New Zealand. But this, when I got to the supermarket yesterday, I said, has that been frozen? And the lady said to me, no, it hasn't been frozen. I said, well, why does the fillet look like that? It looks like Atlantic salmon. Why is it so soft? Now, I can see that there's still got a few bones in there. You can see those, right? 34 bones along the fillet of a salmon. You don't even have to worry about taking them out. They're very cartilagey. They're not really like a normal salmon bone. Now, if you take them out before you've cooked it, you have to be very good. Good pair of tweezers and good technique. Because otherwise, this was not me. Otherwise, what happens is when you look in there, you can see all the pockets around the bones, right? And they've destroyed the fillet. So that's the second. That's why we've got it in the supermarket. Number one, because Big Glory Bay salmon is never really in the supermarket. Number two, it's a second because of the slices and the broken flesh there. It's a second. That's $17.95 second. So it is incredible the amount of money that we can spend on some decent quality products here. Now, I love the stuff, don't get me wrong. I love it. I find it to be, it's a clean tasting flesh. It's subtle. If you're not a big fishy kind of person, then it's probably the right one to eat. But this piece here frustrates me because I'm going to do two things, right? We're cooking for one, so that's too big for one person. And I love a couple of, the next dish, I'm going to steal a piece of this and use it on the next dish as well. So I love the belly. So this piece here. This piece here I love so much because it's really fatty, but it cooks up like bacon. Okay, so I'm going to just take off this piece. Okay, and set that aside. Now the reason I love it so much is look how thin it is. Okay. All of that fat will render out of there. And I kind of want this to get quite caramelized up and quite crunchy if possible. Now, for my third dish here, I'll take the skin off. Now, does anybody here eat the salmon skin? Okay, so a few. Now, I'm not sure if it actually says for fish, for this one, I have to do it on 140. So I'll drop it down a little bit and we'll see how we go. Now, I love the skin of the salmon. We've been taking it off. Who's got a dehydrator? Okay, all right, you're going to get everybody's salmon skins. So what you do in your dehydrator, you take the salmon skin off, you put it in the dehydrator. You leave it in there overnight, the next day you come in, it's like a piece of cardboard. It's really hard to use. But then if you put that into some hot oil and you deep fry it, it puffs up like a chip. So we use it as garnish. And then when it puffs up like a chip, you can put any other flavoring that you like on there, and it becomes quite an amazing thing to eat. Right, like I said though, I think this is too much for one person, so I'm just going to cut it in half. I will cook them both. Sorry about my knife. I still haven't replaced the one. I went down and put some stuff into the bin at home. I put my knife on the top of the car and then the neighbour came and needed me to move really fast, so I drove off, never to be seen again. Okay, so I wouldn't want to buy this piece of salmon ever, just because of the way that it looks. And serving that to someone's not nice, right? So it's really disappointing that that's what we're getting. Anyway, that piece looks a little better. Onto there, the usual suspects. I'm just going to put some garlic, some onion powder, and chili. Now I've got two beautiful things or products that I would like to show you guys, and that are these. This one here is a New Zealand made product, furikake, right? So it's a Japanese style product, but it is full of things like kelp, sesame seeds, a little bit of chili. It's a really beautiful condiment for putting on the top. So that's going to be one of my little sprinkles. But I'm also serving this with this, crunchy garlic. Now you can get this at New World, or I think New World. But this is, it's not really spicy, but it's very tasty. Okay, full of umami. Now umami, for those of you that don't know it, is the meatiness really. That's the flavor sense that you're tasting, okay? This is full of umami and I reckon goes superb with salmon. So I'm definitely going to be using that. One slightly marinated up. One I'm just going to use with salt. Now there's also a lot of oil in salmon, okay? But I am just going to put a little bit on there like so. Now I'm going to pull out my other handy dandy basket. Now I'm thinking at 140, that's got to be 8 to 10 minutes, okay? But we will check it after 5 because that's when I suspect this one will be ready. The small one, I don't mind if it really overcooks a little bit because I want that really caramelized, because you'll understand when I go to put it into the egg dish, you want it to be quite crunchy, quite delicious. Right, straight in. Look at that. And then, of course, Right, that goes fast. I've got a couple of books to give away for great questions as well, guys. So please, if you've got any good questions, because you've been pretty quiet today so far, I must admit. Yes, at the back. Yes, you're going to get all of the recipes, 100%. I would be in big trouble if I didn't do that. I'll just give my knife a clean. Rightio, so I'm going to serve the salmon with something as well, right? So I thought, what's going to be quick and easy? If that salmon is only going to take 5 to 6, 8 minutes or something like that, the salad's got to be something that you can do the same. So in the microwave, I put quinoa brown rice. Okay, it serves 1. 40 seconds. 40 seconds and it's done, okay? And I thought to myself, right, how am I going to get something like a really quick salad that's going to be quite filling but really fast, 5 or 6 minutes. So that was number 1. Okay, hot, it goes in. Obviously it's going to cool off pretty quickly, bang. Second thing is, you know, we need to add in as much flavour into there as possible, so I'm all about the herbs this time. So I have some fresh thyme and some fresh oregano, which I'm going to use. Now the thyme I'm using, and all I want to do is this. I just want to take some of those leaves, and what you'll find is, as soon as you let them hit that hot rice, that's all you smell. It's just like when I'm doing a stir fry at home and I'm doing a ginger stir fry. Let's say I'm doing a chicken stir fry. Stir fry for me is always like half a tablespoon of oyster sauce and the rest will be made with soy. Then it's whatever flavourings you want to put in there, whether it's garlic, ginger, or whatever. But the ginger, I find, loses its flavour so quickly that I'm always adding that at the end. Just before I serve it for a chicken and garlic and ginger stir fry, ginger goes right in at the end. Now, just a few of...
Can you buy the brown rice like that small container?
You sure can. It is like a sunrise product in the supermarket and you buy 2 at a time. Yesterday for like $1.50. I find, if I'm going to be honest, to do that when you're doing something like this, instead of the 25 minutes in the rice cooker to cook the rice and then to cool it down, it just, I'm just here trying to give you ideas to speed things up, right? Loads of parsley goes in. Okay, now, these are funny things, aren't they? Coriander, it's a winter herb anyway, so it grows in winter. $5 these have become. If you think about this one, the thyme and the oregano, they were all $5 each. So there was 4 herbs, that's $20 just in the herbs, right? So have them in your garden. I don't put anything in my garden at home that is not edible. The whole thing's changed. I used to love I live in the bush though, so I've got a lot of trees, but everything we've planted is edible on purpose. I think it's a really good thing to be doing. Right, coriander. For those of you that don't use or don't, know a lot about coriander, every part of the coriander plant is useful. So the roots at the bottom, you clean with your knife, you put into your curry paste, your Thai curry pastes. Okay, beautiful amount of flavour in them. All of the stalks, I just do this. A nice thin slice for my stalks into the salad, and then you just start to get a little bit looser with your knife when you get through to the main leaves. And then all of that goes in, okay? Grow them all. And in fact, when this big building is built here, I hope you guys get a really good herb garden. Just some slithers of red onion. Again, I've gone that way around just for a little bit of contrast. Oh, check the salmon. Wow. Okay, so can you see it if I do that? Okay, then take my word for it. It's not cooked. I would say it's the smaller piece would be at about a medium rare now. The slightly larger piece is rare. okay? But not getting a huge amount of caramelization on the top. What we'll do is we'll take this basket out, we'll put the other bit of salmon in after this, and we'll do the tester to see if it's better with the basket or without, okay? Rightio, that's set on 10. I'm going to move that just to about another 5 to go while we finish off. You can tell by looking at the salad, needs a bit of red, needs a bit of colour. So we'll do a little bit of that. Knife is very blunt. Okay, now salt and pepper. I'm going to do a little bit of this and a little bit of this and then some furikake, okay? Rightio, so when I go to mix that up, you will see that it actually looks really interesting, right? I think the next best thing to put onto here would be some almonds or some kind of crunchy nut, okay? There's no dressing on there either. So I thought I could just show a real quick one for those people that, maybe there's people in here that have never made a dressing. So I've just got some, my mum taught me that if you just go sugar, lemon juice, right? You can go sugar, lemon juice, oil, salt, pepper. It's the most simplest one that you can make. You put it in a jar, Brett, and you just give it a shake. Now, I've probably got a little bit too much sugar in here. But for those of you that haven't made one before, when you've got your... shall I just make one? I'll see if I can squeeze this straight into there without losing too much. Okay, so that goes in. A little bit of oil. Usually your lemon and your oil is about 50-50, but I always said you just do it to taste. Okay, you can take that off like that and then give it a shake. It's already emulsified slightly, okay? And so into there now, it's just about getting it to taste that you like. So you obviously use your salt and your pepper, okay? But then you'll do that to taste. This one's not going to taste very balanced because I've done it so fast. It's too sweet. But you get the idea. To change that up, I'll just put more lemon juice in there, a little bit more salt, and it's done, okay? So I'm sorry about all the seeds. A little bit more oil and some salt.
So what type of salt do you use? Because you're saying about iodine, so you have to use table salt.
That is a great question because in my investigating lately, Himalayan salt's a waste of time. You'd have to have so much to get any goodness out of that stuff. You'd be eating it like an apple. And it's really high in metals. So there's things in there that you actually shouldn't have in your diet. Now, for example, heavy metal poisoning is a real thing. My wife got that when we were living in Hong Kong. She got it from the pollution. I won't go into the whole thing that happened. She would hate me for that, but it's a real thing. And so when I see products like that echo similar ingredients, I start to wonder a bit, right? So buy local, because it's all salt, 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 salt. A lot of people like to buy the French Maldon because it just seems to taste so nice by itself, and yes, it does. But there's some really great little sea salts around. But I just think if you're cooking at home like I do, I just have that old school iodine salt, and I just have it there. That's my cooking salt. All of the expensive salts are finishing salts. So, you know, like you only use Maldon when you're going to the table. You don't do it to cook your potatoes. $7 for 200 grams of salt. So yeah, you know, you just got to be a little bit smart, I suppose. Rightio, I'll just get that out. For my dressing, I'm going to take a little bit. I'm just going to put a little bit of that into there like so. The worst thing about I think the worst thing about a salad is that when it's overdressed and it starts to get really limp. I don't like it at all. Right, the salmon, I'm bringing it out. And if I have a look here, I'm going to say I think it's cooked. And so it was under the 8 minutes. This is the first piece. Didn't caramelize up so much. Okay? It's quite hot. And this is the second piece. So I'm going to say to you guys right now that I think this basket, although this is also quite hot, that basket, although good for the lamb, maybe not good for the salmon. So let's test it.
So how do you, when you just touch the salmon with your finger, how do you tell if it's cooked or uncooked?
Do you know, I think the only way that that's worked for me is through repetition. If I try and do it with a steak, it doesn't work all the time. So do this, first finger and thumb together, right? If you do that and you touch here, it's very soft, okay, rare. If you go the second finger and you touch here, it's a little bit firmer, and I would say that that's medium rare. If you go to the third finger, and you touch here, there's still a little bit of give, but not much. And the fourth one, it's tight, so it's well done. So I kind of go on that, and I'm just touching them, okay? But I will honestly, if I'm working in the kitchen at work, I have a thermometer. And so there is no guesswork. Everything is done to a thermometer, so everything's mostly, it'll be like for here, when next door opens here and you guys are going in for a meal, I would suspect that most food has to be cooked to over 75 degrees and it has to be kept at 60 degrees for you to be served, held at, can hold it at 60 degrees for 2 hours. And then after that 2 hours, the food gets thrown away. Okay, so they are the kind of parameters you've got to work on. But if I crack the salmon open here, it's very soft and tender, but you can see, look at that, medium rare. And that took how long? That was less, I believe, than the lamb. Oh, I don't know if it's going to caramelize up. Actually, then what I'll do is I'll put it to 160. I'll go to 180, and we'll see if it would be better on a higher heat. Rightio. Now, to plate this one up. Right, salad into the bowl. Can you see that all right? Yeah, that looks, to me, this is a salad of the day. I think my wife would be really happy coming home as well. She's going to be like, wow, that's great. It smells really good as well. But instead of just plonking that straight on the top, I find that's a little bit weird. And so I'll take that bit of skin off, take it into some nice little pieces. In fact, make sure that you just give it a season. And then I'm just going to break up some beautiful bits of that. Once you get to the bones, you can take the bones out, or if you're just serving it to, somebody that knows about the bones, don't worry. I actually have friends that eat them. Okay, that's beautiful. That salmon goes straight on like so. Hold on. It's beautiful. And now I've just got this, like you can see here. This is so simple to make at home, but I've never made it this delicious because I think it's MSG. But anyway, all they do is they put everything into a bowl, heat up hot oil, and then just pour everything over it. And then they just let it steep. The hot oil, attacks it for a little while, but it is very delicious. So I'm just going to put a nice whack of that on the side there. Take just a little bit of the green just to finish it off. And there you have it, which is my beautiful 6.5 minute, I'm going to say, air fried salmon on my beautiful brown rice and quinoa salad. Right, now, how long's that been? I'd go up higher. And I'm going to put the skin in. Now, the next dish is a very, very simple crustless quiches. I thought to myself, easy, quick and easy Sunday breakfast or brunch, just getting up, you want to have some toast or so you've got some pita bread, crack that in, and then it's just about doing something really easy. So, okay, oh, nice fresh eggs. Aren't eggs expensive? Yes. Shall I do, what shall I do in here? Would you like a bacon, broccoli? Would you like a mushroom cheddar? Or would you like a salmon, something else?
All of them.
You like all of them? It is like home. Okay, then I'm going to do, shall I do salmon and bacon? Does anyone eat salmon and bacon? That sounds good. Rightio, 2 eggs. If you've got a whisk, it's always good to give things a light whisk. Oh, I forgot about the salmon. Rightio. Look, that had none of the extras. I'd say it's actually, how long do you think that was? 4 minutes? Because that piece, I'm bringing it out. This to me, with nothing on the top of it, looks beautiful, right? So now it's got the caramelization. You can see here, the skin, super crispy. So that could be used as a garnish now, okay? But if you look in here, you can see this piece of salmon's come up a lot nicer. And so instructions said fish 140. In reality, fish 180, okay? And you'll get that real nice caramelization. So that's what it's about though, eh? Having a crack. And I would say if I open up this piece of salmon, it's going to be slightly over what the last one was. Oh no, probably about the same size. Whoa. I'll just leave it there while we do this one because I want to get this heated up again. Rightio, I'm going to keep it on 180 for my eggs.
Could you make an omelette in it?
Okay, I'm going to say yes, but more like a frittata. You know, so you can cook anything in here in any container, there's no doubt. I don't think it really matters for this. And in fact, you wouldn't even need to really whisk this, would you? If you wanted to, you could just leave them whole. Whisk a couple, leave one whole in there. And this could be milk. Doesn't have to be cream. But, you know, there's just something about it. It's like butter. Rightio, just whisking that to bring it up together. You said a little bit of bacon. So prior to this, I did just chop up a little bit of bacon. I think bacon and salmon combination could be very good. Okay, if you are wondering what to do, go to the fridge, take out last night's roasties, cut them small, put them in, cut up some of the roast, put it in. Whatever you've got in the fridge that needs to be used, you can basically put it into these things. Potato and kumara especially goes really, really well. A little bit of parsley. I think garlic powder. Not too much because you don't want the garlic to overpower the salmon. Onion powder. And when I say this adds a whole lot of flavour, all this is just garlic and onion, just dried and ground down. There's no salt or anything added into these. They're just pure flavour bombs. Now, obviously the salmon it's cooked, it doesn't matter. Take that off. And I'm just going to break that and look at that. This part, because it's the belly, like I said, keep cooking for a while because it's still so juicy, it will never really dry out. Okay, that goes in. Sorry, did I put pepper? Okay, now, very simple. Took some spray. I sprayed my container. I probably shouldn't have done it like that. Just before I put it in, you just move everything around a little bit so that you know it's all evenly distributed. Always make sure that your air fryer is on. I wasn't sure if that was going to fit perfectly, but... Right, now, I may check this if someone wants to stop me in a minute. I may have a look in a minute just to see how the egg's cooking. And if it looks like it's slightly cooking, unevenly, then I might give it a little mix in there just to make sure that some's not going to be overcooked and some's not going to be undercooked, right? So we'll watch that as someone wants to give me a minute timer. Okay. Forgot to put the cheese on the top. So after a minute, that's when you put the cheese on. Just a little salad on the side. So green salad always. You've got to take a little bit, oh no, I'll use my dressing. Thank you. Actually not bad. Great time to put cheese on. And I'm not going to put too much because I think cheese and fish is a bit weird. And I'm not even going to move it. It actually looks pretty even. Rightio, so a little bit, that temp is at 180. I will adjust the recipes to suit. Okay, just a little bit of that to go over. Get it nice and glistening. You want to put some salt on it. You want to put some pepper on it. Okay, now that is the easiest salad that you could ever make.
Can you, when the weather's better, plant them out in the garden or keep them on the window ledge?
Yep, it's funny. They're not supposed to be able to do that because they're smart. But actually some do grow, okay? This one is real difficult.
Yeah.
This one I find it's not worth it. But the basil, and maybe the thyme are the two that I've planted outside. That's a great question. I'm going to give you a book because you've actually asked two good questions today. Rightio, we'll have a quick squiz. Look at that. Colour's coming up, egg has risen a little bit, half cooked. In fact, 2/3. That's amazing to me. Right, because I would love to give out another book. So, who can tell me what one of the ingredients were that I had to add hot water to? Oh, I mean, I don't have that many books. Okay, I'll ask a better one. Who knows what year I won MasterChef? Yes. Who said that? Oh, I told you. No, mate, I'll tell you. I'm giving it to him. No, all right. Okay. Whoa. Great memories too, I see. Okay then. How long do you think the cook's going to be on the egg? 10 minutes over here? Because we're at about 6 minutes so far. 8 minutes. Lucky I had a look. It's actually awesome. Wow. That is a ceramic dish. That is safe to go in, yep. But it's actually, you know, probably a little bit over. Very good. Who wants to try this? I'm going to need a bigger air fryer next time. Oh, books. Now, I did say I was going to give one to this lovely lady here, so thank you very much. My pleasure. I'll sign it for you in a minute. And this one's been very difficult because there's been so many fantastic people. And this is not favouritism, but my mate, Gary, I'm giving it to Gary's wife. I'm giving it to Gary's wife. No, mate, here, I want to give it to you because you're such a good sport and good conversation anyway. Thank you. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. It's been awesome.